Hey, you. Not much, you. Nice.
Is my camera going to work this week?
We will see. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
It's going.
Yeah. It's been a busy week.
Feel ya.
We'll give it a few minutes for everyone else to show up. I know they're around.
Evening, everybody.
How's it going?
Evening.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
you. Nice little group we got going here.
No football fans, I take it?
No.
Why are there games happening today?
It's the least amount of football fans in a male gathering that I've ever seen in my life.
That's okay. It's refreshing.
I've bet on football games before, if that counts. I don't know.
There you go. It's worth something.
Alright, got a camera working.
Nice.
Nice.
Not seeing Jeremy.
Yeah, where is he?
I don't know.
He'll be here.
I'm sure, yeah.
I hope.
Are you recording as well, Griff?
Yeah, it's live streaming, and then I'll upload the recording once we're done.
Nice.
There's a real benefit to not having to watch the recording because it just feels like you're just trying to catch up all week if you do miss the meeting. Like there's so like the last one was 2 hours, and it took me like several days to finally get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of did that too.
Yeah. I know the time doesn't work for everybody. Somebody said it was going to be like 3 a.m. for them.
Yeah, I thought I saw somebody say like 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that person's here. I forget who said it.
I'm always confused about whether it's Eastern or Central.
We follow Eastern for the Times Discord shows, just because I tend to be the one to create the events, or if JR does, he's in New York as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate the time change being on the West Coast. The 7 a.m. Saturday mornings were a little rough.
10 a.m. wasn't ideal for me.
How's everyone doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Pretty good, pretty good. Have you guys gone through the HIP 51 and HIP 52?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
What do you think? Have you gotten through it?
I went through it and I ran through the numbers for HIP 51.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it seems like they are over leveraging on 5G.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the numbers they crunched, it was like there are 50,000 small cells and 500,000 LoRa spots.
I know.
I think you only need like 3 times the data transfer for 5G to get the same.
That's
but
nothing.
it's like that's nothing. Like you understand that one small cell is going to transfer like more data than most LoRaWAN hotspots will in their entire lifetime. Like
that's the thing. So I don't know, so yeah, they definitely work on that formula for the what is it, WNP score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's clearly like going to be an absolute shit ton of work to actually implement this.
All right,
hey, folks.
Who made it?
Hello.
That's everything.
Yo.
So my wife's been away for the whole week in Michigan visiting her parents, and she arrived at 4:55.
Glad she arrived safely. It probably a lot
with all the snow.
Yeah, so I'm blaming the Pacific Pirates for moving the meeting time. For making me late.
I feel like I can actually function though. Before I had no voice, like looking at the screen, like hiding behind my avatar.
No, it is very good to have our West Coast Pirates here. All right. You weren't all waiting for me, were you?
Well,
I mean,
maybe.
I could have handled it. If
Partially,
I needed
yeah.
to. I was pulling up the agenda. I was ready to run with it if I had to.
I mean, anyone can pick it up and go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start. Check in. This week's question. What is the favorite thing you ate this week? And I'm going to start with, because he's at the top left corner of my screen, Axon Blockchain.
Hey, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I was having some audio issues earlier. Well, today I had some banana blueberry pancakes, so that's pretty good. Some real Canadian maple syrup.
Nice.
Yeah, that's probably top of my list.
That's nice. And feedback.
I had these chocolate-covered freeze-dried strawberries. They are phenomenal.
Oof. I have not had those. I've had strawberries covered in chocolate, but I have not had freeze-dried.
It's amazing.
It does sound good. Griff. I'm just getting sorry. I know it's Griff Tenstein, but see, one of my childhood friends is just Griff, so you're Griff.
Yeah, I tend to go by Griff. Favorite thing I ate this week was probably the free pizza I got. Welcome to college. It's not extravagant.
Hey, just your favorite thing. There's no running scale. We don't grade things. It's just if it's your favorite, it's valid. Helios, Sean.
Yeah, I'm following the pizza lead. I just moved to a new neighborhood and decided to try out this place called Gorilla Pies, and it was amazing, phenomenal pizza.
Nice. Helium, Christian, your turn.
Yeah. Probably just ramen. That's all I ever eat. That's all I can afford, so it works.
If it's good, it's good.
It's top of the list every other week too.
Kenny?
Yeah, I think I had a really tasty bowl of pho on a cold night on like Friday or something, so that was good.
Rolf, it's on you now.
Well, I actually made something Sri Lankan, like it's like a caramelized onion thing today, because my girlfriend went to work and I decided to stay home today. I was like, there's nothing that much to do. Let's do some cooking. Yeah, it was not 100% like there, because some of the spices I couldn't find in Jersey, but it was there like 95%. So I was happy.
Nice. One of my favorite dishes. I know this isn't Sri Lankan, it's a tandoor dish, but it's chicken shashlik and all those onions with it, or caramelized and hot door oven. Oof, love that stuff. My favorite is going to be an exceptionally British entry. It was I pay the extra money to get proper Heinz baked beans, British Heinz baked beans, which if any of you know, they are like American baked beans and Heinz baked beans are like not even cousins, not even kissing cousins. They're different, and a baked potato with grated cheese. That's like staple cold night comfort food. It's great. If we ever have a get together, I'm making that one of the things on the menu.
Oh yeah,
Caleb.
I had some Costco pizza this week. It was kind of the perfect level of trashy, but thanks to Kenny, I want fun now.
Do it.
No one's above Costco food.
$10 cannot buy you a better pizza.
Mr. Gehring, C. Gehring. Do you have something tasty?
Kind of along the chocolate lines. I had like a brioche bread with this like chocolate chips in it. It was pretty tasty. Just nice, warm out of the oven. Couldn't beat it.
Ooh, warm and fresh is always good. If you hear any noise, it's because the dog is running around with a tennis ball upstairs. Devo.
I tried a Jamaican jerk joint, and I ordered spicy curry chicken from there, and it was definitely what I was looking for. Right, just the right spice.
Nice. I haven't. We've moved to Crown Heights recently, and I haven't tried any of the local places yet. So I need to pop that cherry.
Highly recommended.
Yeah. And Nitsu.
Yeah, I would say probably my wife cooks an awesome chicken marsala with asparagus. So that was good.
That sounds like some good eating this week. All right. So, to business. Busy week, lots of chat. We had a meeting on Wednesday. Lots happened. We're at the end of the 2 weeks of how do we DAO, pretty much. Kind of a sort of headline for me of where we're at. Firstly, I just want to say thank you to all the shipwrights who've been working in the shipyards, grafting away, putting in whatever time they've been able to help us, get make the progress we have in this 2 weeks, which has been incredible. Really, you're talking about people volunteering their time and their smarts to help us get somewhere. It's been amazing, and yeah, from me personally, thank you so much, because it's been exceptionally rewarding and a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun doing this. Speaking for myself. So, and all the research and everything has been great too. It's been really nice to sort of dive into something and share that experience with everyone, you know, the learning journey. Because normally for me, I get some wild idea and I go off down a rabbit hole on my own, and, you know, it's a very solo journey. So to do that together, I think that's one of the really cool things about a DAO, and I'm looking forward to like all the little teams that we're going to work in future, which, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, and the other thing I'd say is over this 2-week period, there hasn't been no disagreements. No one's like hard disagreed with anything with anyone else. You know, it's been everyone pretty much just picking up the rope and you know, pulling together. It's been fantastic. So with that being said, let's dive in and talk about where we're at. We'll dive into the deck in a bit because it summarizes quite a few things. I don't know, has everyone had a chance to look at the deck? Most people have. Do you think it's best if we just go through what's been talked about with mission, platform, funding, governance, and everything first, and then we'll go over the deck, or do you want to go over it first? How do you all think it's best to go?
Probably best to do the deck first.
Yeah,
I agree.
Folks in general agreement. We got a consensus via humming. All right. Let me pull it up then. Okay.
Caleb just threw a link to it in Parlay Text if you want to just grab it from there.
Yeah, I'll share it to screen. All right. Okay. You should be able to see that. Insert mission. And I've left that there because I figure the first once we go through this process today, and we'll have the details of who's been elected to the board, to the council. The council's first job is like, this is our mission, right? That I feel like that's probably the first job, is the council goes around and says, okay, with all of the input that we've got, all of the feedback and everything, you know, let's have that be our first decision. Anyone got any objections to that?
Nope, that sounds good.
Okay. This bit, you know, this is something I filled in ages ago, and it would be what will come after we've got our mission statement. These are all the other things, the other contributions that we've had. I don't have it pulled up at the minute, but there's a lot of contributions in the working documents. Let me see, where is it? Pull that up. So there's a lot of different contributions in here in different areas, and these will probably go through that mission team process and form, you know, expand on the mission, really, you know, just fill in some of those blanks, because I think, yep, great, let's have a very short, easy to communicate one up front, and then back that up with, you know, I think there's a lot of stuff people have contributed that we should include. So I'm thinking that, you know, we'll add some context to the mission there. Our pirate council, the mothership, we will get to. Basically the way we've done it, for those who haven't been involved in the in sort of shipyard process too much of going through these last 2 weeks and contributing, basically everyone who's been involved in that voted 2 people to the council, and that's how we've done it. Originally, when we spoke on Wednesday, you know, we'd been talking, and you know, I was like, well, maybe I'll make a list, and then everyone on the list can also vote someone in. And I was like, so it's a lot better if everyone just votes for 2 people, and then, you know, we see where we're at. Everyone was on board with that, so we'll get to that in a bit. Governance. Oh, never thought I'd be a governance nerd. That's new. Does someone want to explain that isn't me consensus and consent?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Go for it.
So I actually lived at a place called East Lake Commons in Decatur, Georgia, and it's a village habitat actually. So it's a cooperative. I've got like they have like an organic farm. It was awesome, but their governance was consensus on everything, and what that means is that a single objection can stop basically progress on pretty much any decision. And so my thought, having it only applicable to the foundation or those core pieces really makes sense because of that. Because otherwise, progress would be so slow and frustrating for everybody. And I think, the basic consent model, 51% majority or whatever percentage we land on. I think we're leaning towards that right now. And that's how you basically solve anything else that, the group collectively decides, hey, let's vote on this. So consensus, meaning we all have to agree, and that would apply to our mission statement, the governance that we decide on, and then our treasury decisions too. Do you have any?
JR, you might be muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
The 3 items I've got there are what I thought, and based on our discussions in group and whatever, those are the ones that we kind of think should be hard to change once we've set them. If there's anything else in there, that we should put in there, please raise a hand, because I think as Keith explained, there's sort of 2 things we want to do. There's the how we do it, so the structure of what we are and how we do things and how we interact with the world around us and the community. And once we've decided those, I think they should be hard to change. I think there should be a majority, that agrees. So consensus works. But we're not, 100% consensus is impossible. So you go for rough consensus, right? So there will be a vote margin. The governance team will decide what that is. But there will be a governance team popped off of the council team that will go off and figure out what that should be. Same treasury, etc. But yeah, in general, good for things that are hard, that should be hard to change. And then consent. Who wants to take a swing at consent? Ooh, silence. That was harder.
I mean, I can talk.
Go for it, Ken.
I mean, I think that everyone should first and foremost listen to the podcast that was mentioned, if you haven't seen it, where they explain all of this. But basically, consent is going to be used for anything where we need to make, like fast type decisions, where somebody proposes something, needs to be moved on really fast. The default is going to be that it's a yes, unless somebody speaks up. And the small teams that implement this, I think, should probably enact some kind of amount of time that you have to object to it. But it shouldn't be like on the level of days or anything like that, I don't think necessarily. But that's up to those teams to decide. But it's really just to get things done quickly. And it's not to change power structures in any way. Like everything that changes power structure is in the consensus. That's how I think of it anyway. Anybody have anything to add?
I would just say that in consensus, at the very beginning of the process, the expectation is that whatever has been, the person proposing it is in a group of like 8 to 10 people, and it's probably not going to propose anything crazy that is not going to fulfill the mission, not going to, be so out there that it's not really something that Pirate Radio or their team should do.
Yeah.
There's that gating factor, number one. So people don't propose things. People don't propose dumb shit because they don't want to look dumb. Is how it was explained to me.
Yep.
That's the straight quote from the podcast. And that is the podcast in question is episode 24 of The Other Side with Chase Chapman. Just so we've got that on record. And it has on there Aaron and Rodney from the Brave New Work podcast, who work at The Real, which is a self-organizing consultancy. Mm-hmm. So these are people who talk about it, who live this stuff every day, which was why it was such a great thing to listen to. Mm-hmm. Basically, you're working towards a point where something in consensus you might object to it, just flat out. It's just no, we're not doing that. We're not changing that. But in consent, you can say no, but really the onus is on you to be no. But I would be comfortable if we modified it slightly, whatever it is, and changed it. So it's more no, but rather than no. And the goal being is that at the end of it, you have an action. It's not going to be just like, well, stop, start again. And if it is stop and you got to go back and put the proposal in again, then probably it was a bad proposal. If you're going to get 8 to 10 people to, talk and agree that a way forward, then, it's take another shot. But that's the thing. You can take another shot. Mm-hmm. But the idea is for anything involving, it doesn't even have to be urgent work, but just, the day-to-day operation. Like whatever we might be doing, whether it's PR stuff, even some treasury stuff the treasury team will be enabled to decide via consent within the rules that they're given, right? So basically the idea is that the people who the decision affects decide within the rules that they're given by their little parent link. Well, not parent, their link to the rest of the organization. And how does it work? Consensus, proposal gets added. We'll go through questions, suggestions, objections. If objections can't be overcome, consensus is not reached. And as we said, that should make the core values hard to change. And, proposals for changes will come from teams. Maybe the Voyagers team have come up against a particular issue that our rules is causing them a problem in terms of their operation and in terms of their ability to build up new pools or whatever it might be. They might make a proposal to say, hey, this particular thing is causing us a lot of friction. Maybe we should change it to X. Then the rest of the group, and we'll decide on that.
So I was a little bit confused by that slide. Sorry to interrupt, but
that's okay.
The description to me sounded a lot like a consent model. So, like I've always thought of consensus as sort of a way where a majority can actually push through an action when you haven't overcome all of the objections, right?
Yeah.
Or am I misunderstanding consensus?
No, I mean, no consensus, but what I haven't put in here is like percentages, because there's rough consensus. Right. And that, I didn't go hard on it just because I feel like that's something the governance team might have to decide themselves.
That's fair. Yeah, I was just a little bit fuzzy on that, so I was curious.
Yeah. Let me add something in there because
just while you're adding that, do you mind if I grab the name of that episode podcast again?
Sure. It's sorry, carry on.
Oh, I posted a link in Parlay Text, the channel just above this.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just check that. Thanks.
That's a good question. Sorry, was that Keith who asked? Thanks for doing that.
No, that was Age, right?
Was it Kenny? I can't remember whose suggestion it was, but
I
anyway.
don't know who was speaking.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good clarification. Rough consensus as possible. I've been, like Keith's feedback, I've been at Noisebridge, which was run on consensus for membership. And some members who had not been in the space I'd never met them, and I've been going there 2 years. and I was told that they hadn't been, some of them in 5 or 6 years, still had the ability to block a new member joining. And they did. And, you know, just took one person who currently was actually living in Amsterdam, who hadn't been near the space for 5 years, to block someone who was in there probably 14 hours a day.
Yeah, we don't want
contributing an incredible amount of work and effort to the space, and they were just blocked. Like, you know, that's where consensus is bad and stops progress. That's what, you know, in my experience, that's where it can be on the negative side. So, you know, which is why we like consent so much. Before we move on, any more questions on consensus?
I was going to add, I just read through a list of what's called manageable questions and unmanageable questions. So manageable questions being questions that you would ask that move the conversation forward or add value in some way. And through the process of consensus, as you're coming to an agreement, that portion where you're asking questions, I think it'd be super cool to have a list of almost like a guide or a sort of rules or guidelines to follow through that process so that people really understand. Because I think a lot of people don't understand when they ask a question like, so you're telling me that X, Y, and Z, they don't understand that actually is derailing a conversation, right? It's not collaborative. So right. I think like having a guide like that could be super helpful. I don't want to rip off my negotiations book and just take a picture of it, but I can maybe write out a summary or some reference.
Yeah, that sounds very helpful. The other thing which I haven't mentioned there is for all of this, in any of these, a facilitator will be elected. And a facilitator is the person who goes, okay, we're going to go around the room, we're going to start there, and would say, okay, well, that maybe is an unmanageable question. What I've learned this past week is that we'll probably have a little bit of, you know, a 30-minute, 1 hour facilitator training thing at some point where we all have a little learning session so we know how to do this and are efficient at it. But yeah, facilitators and that questions list sounds very interesting. I'm interested to read it.
Also, I think this was. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Someone was talking, right? Yeah, I think this was like, you know, mentioned before in like one of the earlier meetings. But now, if someone is objecting, now this is for like, you know, governance, treasury, and those like, you know, core things. I think it's like, you know, this is kind of going off with like what feedback was saying, like, you know, if someone is objecting, like they need to like provide like, you know, concrete reasons why they are objecting. And it's like, you know, highly encouraged that they come up with like, you know, at least rough solution, like, you know, oh, this is the reason I'm objecting. This is the possible solution this can be, because otherwise what happens is if there are objections without solutions, nothing is going anywhere. So because now you are kind of like, you know, contributing to the overall decision as well, instead of just objecting for the sake of objecting. So maybe like, you know, having something like that agreed upon everyone might be like good thing, because that would like, you know, significantly reduce lag that might come in future when like, you know, the community grows larger and people of different like, you know, ideologies join into the thing. Yeah, so something like that is like written there. If you are objecting, make sure you explain why, and highly encourage if you can come up with a possible solution for that.
I think it's really good, Prof. I forgot your first name. I'm sorry, so I'm just gonna call you Prof, I guess.
Yeah, no, just call me TK. Like, you know, my actual name is Tanuka. Yeah, everyone calls me TK.
TK, yeah, I think it's really great. Really great points, and you know, I also don't want us to fall into a trap of groupthink either. Like, we need people to like push back, right? And that's got to be a normal part of the process, or we'll fail quickly. So through that, I think we want to encourage people to offer solutions, but if you don't have solutions, come in with questions that are coming from a good place. In other words, you're coming in with questions trying to figure out, well, how would we even make it work? Because I can't see that, or I don't understand, or it doesn't make sense to me. Not that it's wrong or stupid idea or whatever, but because it doesn't make sense, let me ask questions and inquire. And I love the idea of having somebody kind of teach that facilitation and having somebody in a facilitator role for each of the pods. I think it's really smart. Good stuff.
Oh, you're muted again, Jay.
Thank you. Yeah, those are great suggestions. I think in general, so far, everyone who's been working on stuff has not objected to anything without having an idea. And most of the time, it's just an idea, not even an objection. And the reason I left in things like questions, suggestions before objections was that hopefully, even in consensus, I mean, how I would expect it to go. So let's say we've got a governance vote in front of the main council, and we're going to be voting on, a small change to the wording of the mission, right? It's not hugely impactful, but it still needs everyone to agree. And if I was facilitating, my first question would be, before we start, does anyone have any concerns that might lead to an objection before we start? Because if no one does, then you can go through question suggestions a lot more quickly and keep things moving. But but again, the idea being just to keep motion happening and to keep, if there is agreement, don't spend 15 minutes, don't spend an hour having a discussion if everyone agrees anyway. You know what I mean? So that was my sort of thing with a facilitator as well, is that they can help keep things moving. And that role will be just as relevant for consent. Consent is something that it's not new. Human beings been doing it since the beginning of time, but it's kind of new in organizations. Not many people do it. But in self-organizing groups, it's been proven to be the most effective way to get people to arrive at a decision and to keep and to not fall foul of getting stuck in consensus, stuck waiting for consensus. Just this is the way. If you want to operate as a group, self-organized, keep moving, keep your actions in motion, then consensus is how you do it. It's as Kenny said, listen to the podcast. Similar thing, proposals added by a member. Facilitator would be elected by the team. Questions, so if you don't understand something about the proposal, that's when you ask questions. Suggestions for improvements. Objections, no, but, and then everyone has to go around and consent. And the reason for using it is it supports our bias to action. That's really as complicated as it should be. One of our main goals is to have a bias to action, and this really helps us with that. We should go around, because consent is pretty new though, and we should go around and see if anyone has questions, comments.
I'll throw in a comment here. I work for some very low organizations, and it's pretty common for organizations that size or organizations that are growing rapidly to get really bogged down by decision-making processes. So I really like what you guys are proposing here. This keeps things very lean. And obviously in those growth stages, you need to be able to explode. You need to have a lot of momentum and to have mechanisms built into the organization structure that allow for for momentum. So yeah, just want to let you know that I like this. This is awesome.
That's helpful. Thanks, Axon. Yeah. I mean, if anyone's ever sort of come across the Amazon way of working, they call it 2 pizza teams. No team should be bigger than requires 2 pizzas to feed, and they should have a great degree of autonomy to do what it is they need to do. It's one of the sort of more modern organizations out there. Short rain apple. Okay. Anyone else? We're going to get better at objecting. Okay. Talking of small teams. Organization of small teams. If anyone wants to get deep into it, you can look at sociocracy and their idea of circles. So basically, you either have nested circles of teams inside a big team, or they're interlinked. But whichever way you do it, and I will zoom in a bit here because it's worth it. Okay, so Pirate Radio DAO, the mothership, main council, whatever you want to call it, has its team members. Keith decides that he wants to start the governance team with me, and we go off and we figure out. Then we say, welcome to anyone else to join. But from that governance team, and it has autonomy based on to make certain decisions based on what powers are given by the Pirate Radio. So Keith would say, okay, I want to propose creating a governance team. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to decide for the group, and this will be the outcome at the end of it. Let's just say we're going to write our constitution. Okay, you can do it, but when you've got the final version, and Keith could say, well, we'll decide it and finalize everything in team. I could, object and say, well, let's bring a proposal back to the main council and have the main council decide on consensus, right? And bam, we go. Each of the teams off the sort of original source, let's say, have 2 representatives. Usually it's the person who proposed creation of the team as one of them. That person is sort of the representative of the source group in the new team. And then once the new team is formed, that team elects a representative to the main group. Now this may not include, this could have people in it that are not full members here, right? But because they've been elected by the team, and this could be an external person, it could be, it could be anyone, consultant, it could be someone we've decided who'd be really helpful and who's happy to throw in some time. They then get a position in the main circle, which confers voting rights as a full member of the main circle. But this person has been elected by the governance team to here. And what that means, the reason apparently that works so well is because there's always 2 people from any group in other groups. No one can overpower anyone. You can't ride roughshod. The main circle cannot ride roughshod over governance because there's 2 people from governance representing them. Can't ride roughshod over growth and community because there's 2 people there, and they can vote as consensus even if they're not full members because they're conferred membership, because they're the representative of this team. That's the basics of it. The goal being to give the teams autonomy, but also make sure that the information flow, and this was very helpful to me in terms of understanding information flow. The information flow between all the teams, everyone knows what's happening all the time because everyone is represented. Now, on bits of paper and diagrams and all these things, those are great. I'll share an experience of mine from years past where this has worked really well in the field. I was working on a show called Freeze Art Fair here in New York, and it's massive. There are 500 art galleries in the biggest tent in the world on an island in New York. An island serviced by one fucking bus. This is a terrible place to get to, Randall Island. But anyway, we had a tenting team, we got a crane team, you've got people putting in flooring, you've got people putting in walls, you've got us putting in the Wi-Fi, you've got people putting in lighting, you've got people putting in audio, there are so many different teams. I think there was something like 16 different small teams, all had their own jobs to do. All were under incredible time pressure. We have to build this thing and open the door in 3 weeks. It is insane. And the only way it happens is because every single day, the production company who run it, called Production Glue, and shout out to them if they ever watch this, was that we had a daily meeting, like a scrum, basically. If anyone's done software dev, daily scrum, and you would have 2 people from every department there, and it just made things so much easier. Having worked on shows where there's also all those other moving parts, like there's people building stages, and there's people doing audio, and there's people building bars, and there's people, laying trackway and putting out toilets, whatever it is. And without that, everything becomes 10 times harder. So at any show I work at, I'm like, I really, like, if I hear that there's a daily, like, everyone gets together, yes, because otherwise it is really hard to get everyone communicating and problems happen. And, next thing you know, you show up to, remove your wireless gear at breakdown because, you think the stage is being taken down in 10 minutes, and you get there and you find out the stage is literally on a truck and gone, and all your stuff is in a heap in a corner, smashed to bits. Like, that's the difference. And it's just communication. But that's I just wanted to share that personal story of how that's worked in the real world, in my experience. But please, other people, questions, comments, ideas?
I think a lot of the questions that I have are just on the responsibilities of the different pods, like legal, like responsibility, things like that. I'm just not sure how that would go.
Yeah, neither am I. Basically the way it works is all we'll have at the beginning. Forget all of this. All we'll have at the beginning, once we've done that, the election's completed today, the nominations are completed today, all we'll have is this. And the way it works is we're there and we have some things to figure out, right? Like, so we've got to figure out voyages, we've got to figure out, mission, whatever. Someone will say, okay, well, I'd like to start the mission team, and this is what we'll do. I want to start the governance team, I want to start a marketing team, I want to start a whatever it is, team. The proposal to create a role or create a team comes from this. So whatever grows out of this is what the team needs, essentially, is the basic idea. So that's the self-organization. Hang on one sec. The dog came to visit. Yeah, so this is how it works once we have teams, and these are just my ideas of what teams could be. But essentially, this team decides what these will be together. And roles. Like, someone says we need a president, and the team agrees, then we get one. And I don't think we do, and that's not really absolutely not what we want. But that basically is how it works. If we say we need someone who's going to be head of finance or going to be the lead person talking about finance because they're this person who's got a huge background in it, then we nominate that role and we decide how we're going to fill it. But again, we can nominate a role and not have someone to fill it and be like, we need this role, we need to go find someone from the community to come and do this. But Yeah. So think of it like the management team. The management team would decide what to do, but decide as a group together using consent.
I guess like after today, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that's just someone feedback, giving a little feedback. You're the only one talking.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, after today, I think most of us might have to do, like, work like defining each of the team, like, what are like the responsibilities. And I think from that, most of like these roles will like, start emerging. Yeah, like, if someone says, oh, governance should have this, or the treasury should have this responsibility. And from this responsibility, like most of these roles will just sprung out, and then we might have to again, like, have like a meeting and just iron things out.
Yeah, sorry, it's me that's causing the feedback, by the way. I haven't finished my lab. Yeah. You use an interesting word there, TK, is emergent, and the whole system is built to foster emergent behavior. So the idea is that if we need a treasury team should emerge. Create the conditions for it is what I've been reading, really. But yeah, that's exactly right. All right. Now, in all of this, we looked at the information flow. I just thought that was helpful to throw in there because it really helped me. I'm just a visual thinker. That's how I am. Ooh. Zoom out, Jeremy. What happens if we get stuck? Because we will. We'll get stuck. Collaborative, joint effort things. We'll get stuck sometimes. 2 questions that have been proven to work when this happens. Is the proposal good enough right now to start? If it's a yes, that's good, right? Like, don't let good enough be the enemy of progress. And the second one is, will the proposal damage Pirate Radio and its mission? If it's yes, then obviously, yeah, then we got a big problem. We shouldn't go ahead. But if it's no, and it's good enough, then we should go, and we should start, and we should learn. It's basically what happens if we get stuck. Any questions about that? It's pretty clear, right? Like, first time I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, thank you. All these amazing people have done so much amazing work in testing.
Definitely makes sense. You got to fail forward.
Mm-hmm. So someone said fail. I used the phrase fail early one time with a group of angel VCs. I had no fucking idea what I was talking about. And boy, that was a mistake. Careful about phrasing when you're in different groups who do not share your terminology. What's next? Once we've got a team that's up and running, and we've got platform. Kenny's done amazing work in Solana Realms, testing how we vote on chain. We are looking at Solana. We've been told that that's the best way to go. It's the most likely bridge to Helium, so it makes sense. Also, it meets our goals of being low gas cost. What we don't want votes to be expensive. That's dumb. It's just like, I don't know how anyone's running a DAO on Ethereum. It just seems insane. And then once we've got our core team, then we go on to, we'll naturally sort of get our next actions, because we've got to answer these questions, and we'll probably be creating some teams. Who knows what they are? This is just a list that I made. We'll decide as a group, but first thing will be mission, probably, and then we'll go from there.
There might be a possibility to do Ethereum bridge if we can get onto Phantom or some other chain that's low gas fees also.
Or like Matic or something, like a L2.
Yeah, I think the push might be anything EVM that's cheap. There's some other groups working on other bridges, but I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything more.
Has there been any mention of Cosmos? I'm just asking because Althea are already on it and they built the bridge.
I haven't heard any. No one's proposed anything in that direction. But the most recent one was anything that's EVM would be helpful. Because then you can bridge over to Phantom, but there still might be some gas fees and cost incurred on the way.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably going to have a governance. We're really just doing governance to begin with in the DAO, so, let's just get those votes through fast. We're not at the point where we have to do a treasury yet, so that's, cross that bridge, etc. Because that gets knotty, and that's the scary wilderness for me.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's helpful. Thanks, Jess. Any other comments on sort of what our next actions will be once we get moving? Anything that I've missed? Cool. I thought it'd be helpful. I pulled together. Everyone kindly went into the role picker and put in some details about some of their skills just in the role picker. It's a pretty interesting breakdown, I think. Once I took a look at it, obviously location hosts were all fleet owners, 13 fleet owners. Awesome. Installers, DevOps people, software development, network planners. That's a pretty big deal to have a bunch of people like that. Project management, PR, marketing. The legal. Man, lawyers don't like working for free, do they?
How do you create the conditions where a legal team forms? I'm guessing it involves having a lot of capital.
My instinct whenever it comes to anything that, I think one of the things that I'm going to be proposing we put in our governance is never do anything that puts us in the realms of the SEC. Never. I know they don't send people to jail. I know they don't send people who look like me to jail, but still, I do not need that headache.
I was thinking about maybe talking to couple of buddies of mine who are in legal and trying to see whether, because obviously you don't want someone force someone to join the community, right? You want someone who like to who has the same mission. And also it's useless having someone join who wouldn't want to take part in discussions and things. So that's the thing, so I'm gauging people, okay, just floating. So I'm trying to see whether there's some people who are interested in it, that way we can just recruit people who are genuinely interested in that, because that way of getting people would be more helpful than raising capital and then try to pay. Obviously that is the traditional way of doing it, but in our case, if we can find some people from legal backgrounds that who are interested, that might be the most that's the bullseye basically. So I'm trying to see float around this idea with few people who are in this. So hopefully one of them likes that, and if they want to genuinely, that's the thing, I don't usually say, oh, you should do. I gauge the interest they have, what question, I'm not trying to manipulate or something like that. I'm just gauging it, because obviously especially with crypto and everything, I know some people as soon as they hear it, their ears perk up. But I'm trying to gauge it little bit, try to so we'll see, hopefully we might be able to get some people from that background as well. It would be a good touch to have a wholesome team.
Yeah, and look, so far all of us have done this completely voluntarily because we believe in the community and in Helium. and we believe that organizing together is a good idea, everyone should be earning some money soon. No one. This is like we're doing this as a service to the community to get going, but people should be earning money. And if we need a lawyer at some point to write some stuff, that person should be paid, even if they're on the team. That's like material contribution. You should be paid. Professional services. Like, I get 20 years of Wi-Fi. Like, if I'm using my professional services, I expect them to be paid for most of the time. It's that thing. What's the quote? The guy, they couldn't move this ship, and they brought in this mechanic, and he was there 5 minutes. He fixed it, and they were like, and he gives him a bill for 10 grand. And he's like, oh, what? You were here 5 minutes? And he goes, well, the 10 grand is for the 15 years of knowledge it takes to fix it in 5 minutes. Which is interesting, right? Because now we're talking about a world where people can earn money from their skill throughout their career. Think of all the things you've created for people over the years and in jobs you've had, and things that they're still using that you're not being paid for anymore. I got a breadcrumb trail of all that kind of shit all over the world. My networks are running shows everywhere. I got paid for the day I was there. I'm not getting paid now.
It's funny in academia, we publish papers and then they get used by everybody else, but you never make any money off of it. Unless you're making some kind of device and you get a copyright for it.
Yeah. Let's be clear. We're all here to, be successful. But the point with Pirate Radio is everyone should be able to be successful. And where those restrictions exist, we'll push them on the way. But, I just wanted to be clear that we're not expecting this to be an organization that relies on everyone's free labor for forever. That's absolutely 100% no.
Yeah, I just want to jump in too, because I think TK, what you're saying is like it's better. We're going to pay somebody either way, and it's going to be better if we can find that person who's for the mission, pay that person, because that's why we're all here, is the mission first, and being able to be rewarded for that is the bonus, right? Like that's all like amazing and work. And I think that's it's such a great point, and it's how we want to look at membership long term.
Yeah, I mean, probably what will happen is we'll have a contributor in a team who isn't a member who will be like, "Hey, would you like to be a member? You've been great," or we're working with someone in a team. We're like, "Hey, everyone else, we should be bringing this person in." You might be working in treasury, and then all of a sudden we find that, "Oh, yeah, I've got a law degree. I'm not a practicing lawyer anymore, but I can write stuff." Yeah, well, pull them up. That's the idea. It's cool. But yeah, what an amazing array of talent, really. And fleet owners, that's great. It means we can really apply some pressure out there, which is awesome. We got a lot of people who know how to roll out big networks, which, if we're going to make a difference for these individual operators out there who are struggling and watching their, the miner they paid $1,500 for off eBay earning them 10 cents a day, getting annoyed, we can help them out. We got the talent. And that is the end of the deck. Currently. So I'm going to stop sharing. So that's pretty much where we're at. I think my feeling is we got a pretty good base response after our 2-week sprint of how do we form as a DAO. I'm happy we've answered that question. Around the room though, is everyone happy we've answered that question?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Just double checking I'm not sharing because I'm looking at confidential shit. I'm looking at where the votes came in. Sorry, I need to. So, just finish. I was waiting until the end. Okay, that's one more I missed. Dude. So. Sorry, I'm just getting all the people. So
It's okay. Has anyone told Christian how cool his background is?
He's doing the green screen here.
nice.
Yeah, it's the green screen. Also, you can see my deer head in the background.
Yeah, I can see some animal head popping through.
That is creepy.
Oh, come on, sweet. Nuts. And okay, so overall we have 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10 people elected to the council, which that's a pretty cool number. You know, that's good. And like I say, the way this was voted for, everyone who's been a shipwright, so everyone who's been contributing to this process over the last 2 weeks, working together, I thought they were the best people to decide who should be on the council, and everyone got to nominate 2 people. So our nominations are, let me just do that. I'll do that. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I got all the last minute ones as well. Okay, I can share now. All right, so these are nominated people, and it's in alphabetical. Yes, no, not quite. How did you escape the alphabetical order, Ken? What outlier are you? So we have BFG Neil, Caleb, Feedback, aka Keith, Griff, Mr. Matt, Ninochka, Adam, who may not be here.
Yeah, he wasn't here earlier. I think he had to go.
Yeah, I think, you know,
Same
he
thing for
probably
Neil.
feeding the kids. Yeah, probably feeding the kids. TK, me, Kenny, and Elmo, the professional. Those are our nominated people. And everyone, so all, I think we had 15 people able to nominate 2 people each, and that's how it panned out. Yeah, there were some replicated votes, but I don't think that matters. So, you know, I'm not, unless anyone really wants to see what they are. This isn't a popularity contest, so if you were nominated, you were nominated. It's good enough for me. Okay, so we'll do this with consent. I will nominate. I'm going to nominate Kenny as a facilitator. Everyone's happy with that? Trapped him right in it. Are you okay with that, Kenny, or would you prefer Keith?
Sure.
Or something? You're fine with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, over to you.
You want me to facilitate voting in people by consensus? Sure.
We'll do. We were going to do this with consent, just purely because, you know, we're electing people. This is nominations that we're electing to the council. I think it's a quick thing. I don't know if we need to do consensus because it's depends. But we can go around the room. I would say maybe we should go around and ask everyone if they prefer to do consensus, which is everyone agrees pretty much, or consent, which is, you know, basically yes, with unless someone has objections.
Yes, maybe we can just do a straw poll, like give us a thumbs up if you want to do consensus. Does that work?
Yep.
I mean,
Do you want to do it in? Not everyone's on video, so we can do it in text.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hang on, let me just put a thumbs up. So just to be clear, Kenny, we asking if we want people to do consent or consensus?
We are asking if people want to do consent. So I think what you had listed before, right, was first of all, see if people want to do consent by block, right? Just vote everybody all in at once rather than go through. So why don't we phrase the question as yes or no, do you want to use consent to vote everybody on this list in by a block?
Yeah.
We'll go the quick way first, and if people have objections, we can break it down.
Yeah. So I just put in vote on nominations by consent in Parley, just to make sure everyone's happy with that. If we get a thumbs down, then we know that that is not passing consent. So we got 12 yeses so far, and we got 1, 2, 3
people in the call. So 2 have abstained, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, people could be driving, so I think I'm happy to set a rough consensus, and we can vote by consent. Okay. What was the question, Kenny? Is vote on nominated. Vote to not nominated people. People want to call this the main council, the mothership. What?
Sorry,
I like the mothership.
Yeah,
Do people want to call this the mothership?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Unless someone has a
Definitely.
cooler name.
So if you vote yes to this, you're happy for your consent to be applied to everyone that's been nominated, all 10 people.
I feel weird saying yes because I'm on that list.
I think just to be clear, this is not the consent to nominate. It is the consent to treat the nomination as a block operation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not saying yes. All these people are on the council yet. We're just saying yes. We will nominate as a block. So basically, if I, for example, were like, no, I would like to discuss Griff's nomination individually, then I would say no.
Is that when I pull up the black belt
and
cell
we
on
would.
the stream?
You can totally do that.
I won't.
Okay, we're at 11. We're missing one.
Well, 3 technically.
3 technically. Everyone.
People could be AFK or, like you said, driving, but it's weird we'd lose 1 vote.
Oh, it was me.
You got to vote.
Why are we missing 1 vote? Oh no! Oh no! It was me. There you go. Okay, so we are going to treat them as a block. So
it's easy.
How do you want to word this, Kenny? I'll type.
So okay, so so far we've passed that we're going to nominate all these people as a block. That's correct. And so now we're voting them in as the council, or
yes.
Confused.
So basically, it's like this block of people form the council, I guess, or something like that.
I would just say vote to elect all the nominated people as a block. Something like that. And then I guess give a thumbs up if you're okay with that, or thumbs down if you have an objection.
Or below to the motion. Okay, and then I'm just making it kind of official. There we go. I put in vote to elect all the nominated people below to the mothership. Yes or no?
You didn't sneak anybody in there?
Didn't.
I only see 10
Be smart.
I don't think so.
I'm just kidding.
I voted this time. Watching for that tick.
One person didn't vote. Anybody not vote? Hey,
there we go. Well, everyone, I think you can give each other a huge
Almost poor service.
I don't know. Ahoy! Well done, everyone. That is
congrats.
I'm pretty fucking stoked. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great job. We have the mothership, and we've got some work to do, which is great. I'm fucking shattered. So I'm gonna sort of breathe for a bit and and enjoy this feeling because it's nice. I'll be honest, it's nice little warm feeling right here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, big round of applause to everyone who's involved. Golf clap.
Hey, thank you for your getting everyone sort of rallied around this idea and this mission, and not even getting everyone rallied, but just sharing your own thoughts, and it's like inspired everyone, and I think that's really awesome.
That's true.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm just stoked for what we're going to do next. Like, this whole process has been great. I've been really lucky to do work with people in teams in really collaborative ways. Sean, am I getting your name right? Sean, our resident musician. You probably can relate to this a lot. That in collaborations when it's very mutual and there's a lot of respect. It happens in music. I know it happens in the science world as well, and things like that. Often in the business world, we don't get to do that. We don't get to enjoy those kind of collaborations. It's just because of the way things are set up, there's always someone, the suspicion that someone's trying to put something over on someone else. And this is not that. This is more of a collaboration. This is Kanye x Jay-Z taking on a world, and we're going to do some amazing stuff. There's a lot of people at Helium and various places who are really supportive of what we're doing. We got a lot of great ideas already. I cannot wait to start taking registrations for mining pools because hell yeah. Yeah, and there's a bunch of other stuff as well that I'm excited to do. Anyone else got anything they're really looking forward to what we're going to do next? What are you looking forward to getting stuck into? It's probably a good thing to have as our closing thoughts.
If you don't mind, if I go.
Go for it, Christian.
Perfect. I'm just excited just to watch everyone work and just help out and do whatever I can. I'm actually making some websites just for fun and stuff, so I kind of want to integrate that with this, if that's possible. That'd be cool.
Totally. I mean, we'll more than likely have, there will be a team that is going to deal with how we communicate with the outside world, the websites, the social, the PR and marketing, and, people going on podcasts and stuff like that. For sure. We're definitely going to need that. And the great thing about the small sort of satellite teams, other ships, I've got to find a better word for that, is that there's an opportunity for everyone to get involved. The main council has to do the boring stuff. Everyone else gets to do the cool shit. Right. Who else? Griff, what are you excited about?
Being able to contribute with as little money as I have, because as I've mentioned before, being in college, I don't have the same kind of finances many of you guys have. My net worth is 6 figures in the wrong direction of zero right now. So being able to contribute and help out on projects to this scale is hugely important to me.
That's awesome, man. We're really stoked that you're on board. Really, Griff was one of the first people who Griff was the first mod on the Discord, and Elmo brought Griff on board. And man, you all wouldn't have been able to write shit on this Discord if it wasn't for him. Because I am not a good Discord mod, as we have seen. I keep breaking things. Excuse my bad language. All right. Anyone else?
I think it would be like, really cool to see all the innovation that would actually come from like the community, So already like Kenny and I, we were like talking about like, so Kenny have been having like an issue recently, like, with his freedom file, because he was using like one of our enclosures, and the freedom file stopped working, and freedom file has been like, not so supportive when it comes to like, getting that change. So I'm like, trying to like set up something so we can actually get his thing back up and running. So like, when it comes to things like that, we were talking like, soon there will be like this point where like, most of the hotspots and all these gateways would need repairs and things like that. And obviously like, most of the manufacturers would be like, oh, like it has been like, over 2 years since you guys have purchased. Like, I'm sorry, like we can't provide support now for all the purchase. So we were thinking like, it would be cool, like, community like us figure out like, ways that people could actually, get like routine maintenance, repairs and things like that get done on these kind of things, because it's going to be inevitable. And I don't see like, huge manufacturer side like support comes to like all the hotspots. So, like that's an innovation, because that doesn't exist right now. And most like, like it's hard to see like, a network of this caliber out there. So these are like the problems that, could actually address far better than like a single entity that is like, operating based off on like, balance sheets. So yeah, like I'm really excited for like, those kind of things, because this is something that's going to really like, have a wider impact, like, in all the directions when it comes to like, addressing issues of the community by the community.
You're still muted, Jeremy.
Oh, did I get cut off?
No, we can hear you.
Okay,
Jeremy's talking and we can't hear him.
Me, I'm muted again.
To get better at whipping.
It's
Totally agree with you,
so
Prof.
loud. Prof's the only person who gets feedback on my mic. I will improve. Sean, I think you were hitting space bar, so.
Yeah, no, I can just echo what Prof is saying. I think this space is, I think the innovation that potentially can come out of this, and the idea of that no one else is really doing it, and we are, and being the first to kind of follow your lead, and from all different places around the world, around the globe for one common interest. It's just the ideal team mentality, and it seems like everybody thus far in this group has have been good people coming from a good place. Everyone who's contributed and shared. There's something about that community that I feel like I've been missing in the music community, because we haven't been out on the road and I haven't been able to do what I've been doing for a while. And in a weird way, it's been a bit of a blessing in disguise, just my adventure with helium in general. And I think this is just another way to take it even further. I invited Josiah to the call today, and I was just raving to him about what the DAO is. And I know Josiah has a expertise that I know he can contribute. And I think as we continue to grow, we're going to find people that are also like-minded, and just I've already seen the growth, and I can only imagine how you feel creating this and bringing everyone together. And I think eventually there's going to be a momentum, and I can't wait for that. And I also can't wait for I want to coin a phrase of maybe when we want to get rid of a member, maybe we can have the plank. If we ever need to hold anybody accountable, we can make them walk. And my stage name is Sean Hook, so I wouldn't mind being Hook. But no, I'm just excited to be part of it.
Yeah, I got to jump here pretty quick. But yeah, thanks for inviting me, Sean. It's been awesome. It's been on the wall, just trying to learn from everybody and sort of get a better understanding of what everything's about. I'm really excited to see where I can plug in my skill sets. And to be totally honest, I love adding value to the world, but that can be not the best relationship inside of enterprises where you don't get to see the long-term benefits of the value that you're adding. So really excited to see what happens here. Yeah, with that, I'm going to jump. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I'll try to keep in touch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this all goes.
Thanks for being here.
Enjoy your week.
Thanks for coming, Josiah. Good meeting you. Bye for now. Yeah, awesome. I think we're probably all having conversations with people in the background and coming up with crazy schemes and ideas. And like I say, cannot wait. Anyone else got any crazy schemes and ideas that we haven't surfaced yet?
Making our own cryptocurrency.
What did I say about not going anywhere near the SEC?
I knew that was going to come.
I mean, that's just me. I mean, there's a group who may decide that we're totally on board with that, but oof, God,
I want to stay
I'm
as
just
far
bad
away
at math.
from making a no one blockchain as possible.
Same.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. I'm just bad at math. That's what it comes down to. Sorry.
I am too, but
my own taxes are hard enough already.
Yeah. But Elmo and I, Dennis and I have been talking about some stuff this week, some ideas that we've got that are pretty exciting, and we're gonna spend a little more time crafting them before we push them out as proposals. But yeah, this is serious.
This is why I can't. I'm listening to you guys, so this is one of the reasons I can't. Like, I'm excited for this. It's gonna be like I'm excited for I can't tell you.
We'll get the proposal out eventually. Don't worry, it'll happen.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, some really exciting stuff on the ground. Doing good.
Yeah, me and Dennis had a conversation. He was like trying to talk to me. He's like, I can't explain this part, but what do you think about the rest of it? And I was like, what am I supposed to say then?
Yeah, as my friends back in London would, as my friends in London would say, big tings, man, big tings. Cool. Anyone else?
I was just working on already on my first proposal to form a DevOps team.
Yeah, Kenny's got some work to do. He's got to get everyone. He's got to go set up Solana Realms now.
Yeah, apparently.
So that'll be the first thing. We'll probably start a channel for the main council. Griff, can I leave that with you?
Your track
Something
record
that
says I'll have to step in anyway.
Be bad at something and then you don't have to do it. And then we'll get the we'll keep everyone updated with progress. We're not gonna be going slow. Like I say, I need a breather tonight, but straight back at it tomorrow. Awesome. I don't have the words to express to you all what this means to me. I got into wireless. I was already in networks, but I got into wireless because I wanted to try and build a community network in Wales. It didn't happen, but it's always been there. I've never really been able to do anything with this desire to get more people connected. But last year, the benefit of having the money to afford therapy and things like that, I learned a lot of stuff. And that's why I wrote the Pirate Radio post. So I'm like, okay. Next, I really want to... I'd never really understood when people say, well, my life's work is. I'd never had that feeling before, ever in my life. I know what my life's work is now. It's to get people connected. And that's, to have all of you all support that and, share that to some extent, wherever you are on the spectrum of that. Like I say, I don't have the words to express what that means to me, so thank you. And yeah, I am so stoked for what comes next. With that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see you all in council. We got a DAO!
Fuck yeah.
Congrats, everyone.
Yeah, congrats everybody. This is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, have a great week.
See y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Just sorry, I'm not trying to self-promote, but I am looking for a front-end developer if anybody knows React. It is for a DAO thing, so. All right, guys, have a good one.
You too.
Take care, guys.
Everybody needs a React dev, right? It's tough.